and welcome to our virtual annual discipline-specific activity for the 2021-22 school year. For those of you who do not know me, I am Kacy Malsey, the Associate Dean of School Partnerships. Thank you for participating in our ACE annual discipline-specific activity. As the pandemic continues to influence our yearly activities, we are pleased that we are able to still provide you with an opportunity to complete our NACEP required activities in a platform where you can make a connection to your liaison. Throughout the fall, ACE Liaisons scheduled live Zoom sessions to discuss specific topics related to the disciplines in which you teach. While we understand that it is not always possible for you to attend the live sessions, these sessions were recorded so you can get the benefit of the event with the discussion from those who attended. Please enjoy the recording of your annual discipline-specific activity. We hope next year we will be able to welcome you back to our campus for an in-person event. Thank you for your continued hard work in making this program available to students.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Kacy Crowley, and I am one of the ACE liaisons for sociology and psychology at Penn Highlands. And this semester, we are going to be going over the best practices for student engagement. I have a PowerPoint that I'm going to be presenting for everyone. And for those of you that could not attend this live session, it is recorded and be sent out in the spring for you guys. So you guys should be accessing it here spring, right? And there should be a PDF available also for you to be able to access and review the documents and some of the information that I'll be providing in this PowerPoint that sometimes is hard to write down whenever you're just viewing it, right? So a PDF, again, will be available. All right, so let's get this PowerPoint rolling here. Share screen time, right? So, not yet. Don't want to share yet. When you have lots of monitors here, you're like, which one? Good thing whenever you do share a screen, it gives you the number. Okay, got this going. All right, so we are, again, beautiful title slide, right? And as you can see, this is part of our annual training that is required by the NACEP accreditation that we do. And we typically hold this on campus during our fall semesters. So just like last year, unfortunately, with COVID, we did a Zoom sessions, and this year we're doing the same. So hopefully next year we can get back into the personal, in-person, training sessions so that we can meet each other and have more of the on session kind of times, right? Just making sure everything's sharing here. Okay. So this particular session pertains to social science disciplines for psychology and sociology courses. And I've been teaching with Penn Highlands with sociology specifically, but I do have a background with psych, and I've been teaching in higher education since 2011. So I feel like I'm qualified, right? Like, that's my qualifications for you. Okay, so moving on. So we have the session outline, right? So specifically, we will be going over some interactive activity examples for best practices, right? Whenever I've done my observations the last couple years here, some of the faculty, some of you guys specifically, you guys have some great examples that I'm going to be including, no names or anything, but you might see some of your work and you're gonna be like, oh, that's me, I did that, right? So if we were in person, I'd be like congratulating you. But so some of these are great examples of this interactive activities, and you guys do starter discussion questions. And then we have some at the end wrap up kind of what we learned, slides, kind of most of you are doing it in PowerPoints, but we'll discuss that. Also some highlights of Pearson Revel online resources, going over also the Pearson videos that are there. They're called Pearson Smart videos. They are extremely useful, and I want to emphasize those some more for you. And at the end, then I will present a few practical tips for teaching this program using the ACE program. And then, of course, you guys, I hope, will think about some other useful information that you can pass my way then through either email, or next time I do an observation, if you want to give me some of your practical tips that you've been using, that would be great. So again, this past year, like I said, I've observed some of you guys are very innovative, especially within this past year with COVID, year and a half more, going on 2 years completely now. But since I've been observing this, you're very innovative, and I completely commend you for that. So I wanted to share then some of these tools that you guys that I've observed, and some of the practices that I've also used through teaching. So first thing you guys want to these are my little reminders, right? Heads up that I found to be useful. The check-ins with your students. I've been asked several times, like, how do you get your students to come to class, right? And what's, and this is, I guess, more for like whenever you don't have the attendance requirements. And for high school, I know it's different because they're attending more regularly in that sense. So you might not deal with this particular issue, but connecting with your students, I'm sure, is something that you've found to be useful in having your students maintaining that comfortable classroom environment, right? So taking that 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning of your class to check in with them, make sure if they have anything they need to ask or clarify. I've done actually around the room kind of check-ins if my class is small, like, if you only have 5 to 10 students, it's easy to take just a couple minutes per student, or 30 seconds to a minute, really, just to say, hey, how are you doing, kind of thing, right? Maintain that connection, again, making the classroom environment comfortable, conducive then for learning, right? Names are important. Using your students' names encourages their engagement. Again, at your level with the high school, it's probably, you see them more often throughout the day, so it might be easier, but I've also experienced some professors at different levels of education that did not know their students' names. And I know it's hard when you have a lot of students, but to try to remember their names is especially makes that connection even deeper. Right? So names are important. Okay. So interactive activities and examples here, right? So some of you, again, you'll see these and you'll be like, oh, that's my stuff, right? So because you guys, again, are great use of the examples here. So another best practice that I've observed are these activities. Every class I have been a part of have had this most success with students that are actively involved in the course material. So here's just 3 examples, right? Graphic organizers. This first one is from a Sociology 100 course. It's from chapter 2 to be specific on the culture. The faculty used a graphic organizer to show examples of subculture, allowing for real life examples to be discussed in the classroom. Second example here is online videos that students can use to test their knowledge on the concepts, right? This second example is from a Psychology 100 course where the faculty member uploaded a video connecting the memory concept and testing their students' awareness, right? This particular video was uploaded using MyVR Spot. And MyVR Spot is a cloud-based video and digital content management solution built specifically for K through 12 education. So something to think about if your school is not using that, to possibly start integrating, right? Third example is a sample candy neuron and synapse, right? And the example uses pieces of candy to create a 3D image of a neuron and synapse. It's from a Psych 100, right? Students had to explain their thinking and how the neuron works before they were allowed to eat it, right? So again, a little more incentive, right, to get it right and do things. I've also seen the same neuron and synapse activity used with clay, and the students painted it and everything, and then also using cardboard pieces. So getting that 3D connection is very, well, first off, it's very innovative, but it's also very useful in them seeing the parts, right? Next one here, we have starter discussion questions, right? So they were called either various names here, but the ones I'm just examples here, bell ringers or starters, right? Just beginning of starter questions. So bell ringer then is an activity, small assignment, or mini assignment, a mini assessment, I mean, that students complete when they first enter the classroom. Bell ringers typically consist of questions or prompts related to the concepts currently discussed in the class. The students started the class with a bell ringer discussion question pertaining to the concept. They, for the example exactly, they used like their master status. So it was a sociology course, and they utilized then Google Classroom, right? And they had like Chromebooks and things to write the responses and have their peers then respond, right? So it was like real time. They were able to respond to each other, and it was like a little discussion, but they used the Google Docs to kind of keep it flowing, right? And this allowed for the students to showcase their critical thinking and ability to connect to the sociological concepts in this everyday events of what their master status was, right? And how they were connecting to each other. Again, brilliant. Using the tools available and using it in real time, right? Also then starter questions have been used then, questions pertaining to the course material for that day, good way to keep the focus for students' attention, give you time to do roll call, right? So that's what usually those bell ringers and starters get, that give you a little time as faculty to, again, take roll, right? And to get just things organized, right? Then we have the end of class time, right? The wrap up, what we've learned. So you do the whole beginning, right? You tell them what you were going to tell them, kind of what I did in the beginning, right? Of the slide here. I'm like, hey, we're going to be going over this stuff. And then you tell them. And then at the end, you tell them what you told them. And it's such a simple concept of like plan, but it really does work. So a slide, say, at the end of the class that highlights the concepts and or theories being addressed that class. This is, again, particularly helpful if there was a lively discussion that may have, gone down a rabbit hole or derailed somehow, and just to bring it all back. I've definitely found it to be like useful. I end up doing some rabbit holes sometimes, right? Especially with these kind of courses, we have our social sciences where, you can take an everyday event and you roll with it, right? But you bring it back to the concepts, and that's where that nice slide at the end can help you do that. Right? I've really relied on that personally a lot to bring back and be like, oh yeah, the wrap up slide, that helps, right? So moving into some of the resources, I'm going to just keep this going, right? So Revel is an immersive learning environment, learning experience that enlivens familiar and respected course content with media interactives and assessments. This is one of the main reasons that we, Penn Highlands chose this as a resource, right? ACE faculty have access to all the online Pearson Revel resources, while your high school students do not use Revel. You can use it though as the instructor resources to supplement your course. You have permission to print quizzes and tests for your test and incorporate them all. The media interactives are available for you to include in your PowerPoints and your courses. So again, your students don't necessarily have access to Revel, but you do, okay? And you can download the PowerPoints, the Word documents that have discussion questions in them for you to use, exams, quiz questions. Again, the media interactives can be accessed and used online in your classroom, okay? Here's just some examples of some of this stuff. So this one is a really, really short video. It's like a minute and a half, right? It's one of those like, hey, catch your attention videos. And this one's just going to go over again the download and instructor resources here. So let's listen to this. Well, let's make sure I have share the sound. And then we go through this.
Hello. This is Jay Jenkins of Pearson Education. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to access instructor resources inside of your Revel program. So if you log into the Revel, so if you Google Pearson Revel or Yahoo or Bing search it, you will get the Pearson Revel login page, and then click sign in using your Pearson information. And if you already have a course created, you'll see the course. If not, you can go to search materials and create your own course based on the textbook that you're using in the course. And then once you're inside of the Revel course, which we just click on the name of the course, on the left hand side we'll see that there is a resources tab. And if we click resources, that will then bring us to the resources by chapter, and so you can download PowerPoints, test banks, videos, things like that, whatever is available. And if you just click on it, you'll just want to understand where your computer is set to download programs that you download from the web, and whether it's a download folder or a documents folder or another type of file folder. Just make note of where it will download it, and then you can go retrieve it and open it from there. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you have a great day.
So most of the time, there's a default download folder that then you can just go in and click on your downloads. And then after that, if you wanted to try to make a specific folder for that to keep downloading to, but what happens is it just automatically downloads like a default to that, whatever your download folder is. So it is a little bit like you're like, oh, I didn't even get an option, but once you get it to that folder, you'll just know exactly from that download folder where to go. Just a heads up on that. Okay, so then, oops, there. Also, this is some screenshots I took. You can see there are some great, once you click on the Word document or zip files, you'll be prompted to download the material. And then I just, like I said, showed you, I'll just, in the next couple of slides, I have some digital, some screenshots. But you can see, and this is from the SOCH one, so the video showed you the psych, and the SOCH is same thing. It's just once you click on like some of the instructor resources, they might be, as you can see, worded a little different because sociology has like explainer videos. So each, the psych and SOCH are slightly different, which is to be expected, right? And then, but you can see same kind of deal. You just add that to it, right? And then what I want to really highlight here was that there are current events included in each chapter. This example is from Chapter 8, Sociology textbook on deviance. Note that the article right here was published in August of this year, right, 2021. And so very current data and crime rates. And, obviously there's a screenshot, but you can, in the text, you would be able to scroll down and see what's going on, and you can include that right into your text, right into your classroom material, right? And you could also print that out, that section there, if you really wanted to print that article for your students to read, and like a current article. It's just such like great resources right there available to you to include, and this is like updated information. Also, just kind of part of my little tips here. Inserting pictures in digital text, right? So this is a screenshot of like a whole picture of like what your textbook would look like, right? But if you only wanted to include the picture into, say, the PowerPoints, because it's like an updated picture and you're going to be providing information or charts or something, right? A quick way to do this without like taking this whole screenshot and, you know, cutting it down and doing your, you know, editing tools or something like that. Just do it right from your keyboard, right? By holding in Shift plus the Windows key, right? Shift, Windows key, and S. And it will come up with a little cursor showing you like, hey, what exactly do you want to clip, right? What area do you want specifically? It'll mark out an area for you. Like it'll shade an area that you'll be able to drag across and make a cute little square. And I just showed you in the yellow outline here exactly. It would just like, whoop, and then you're like, okay, I want that. And then you literally just say, hey, paste. And then it'll just look like right like that. It'll just paste it for you nice and big. It'll make it better for you. Everything will be clear, it's extremely quick and useful, right? And this works with Windows. This is more of a PC Windows kind of thing, but you know, most of you, I'm sure, have access to something of that nature. So very useful, okay? Also, the videos, like I was talking about, videos using Smart Pearson Player. So to facilitate the discussions, prior to watching the video, have students answer questions about, say, for example, this one is about how does society shape people's gender, right? So the sociology question dealing with gender. The video presents the concepts of gender, socialization, sex and gender, cisgender, transgender, and non-binary, right? So you would, if you wanted to facilitate, like I said, a discussion prior to watching this, you would answer the questions about how men and women and boys and girls should act, maybe like let students throw out as many maybe gender stereotypes as possible in the sense of getting just things going, right? So you get that started, talk about what is gender socialization, get those concepts, and then watch this short video. The videos are average like between 5 to 7 minutes, right? So that's about the range it comes into. So an average of 6 minutes, right? We're going to do an average there, but so it's right in there. So great little short videos, just enough to get the information out there, but not, like I said, not too long, right? So a practical tip, though, this is kind of one of those things that actually, if anything frustrates me about these, is that it doesn't always embed correctly into your PowerPoint. And it's because it's from their Pearson site themselves, right? So it's not like a YouTube or anything. They're very particular about keeping their rights to their material, right? So the thing is, these videos can't be embedded to play automatically. You can embed the link, you can add the link, I mean, and put the link in there, but you won't be able to actually have the video itself play from your PowerPoint, okay? So you will need to have them ready, either the link ready in a tab open on an online window, or have the link inserted into your PowerPoint, then that you can click on the link and it'll bring up the online window, right? Okay. Here are just a couple examples. There's dozens of examples, and these are just from the sociology one. And I know the psychology also has some, but these are just some of the ones I just picked out real quick. And these are just some of the titles. Like I said, these videos are helpful in articulating difficult concepts and facilitating challenging topics such as gender, race, and sexuality, right? Some of those, they are very challenging, especially at your level with the high school level, right? It can be very challenging. So having the facts being stated in a video, just they are straight to the facts and updated data. It's very helpful. Most, like I said, I just noticed in my notes here that one of the shortest videos is 3 minutes. So 3 to 7 minutes range there, right? So we have more of an average of like 4.5, 5 minutes, right? About 5 minutes. So that's not that bad, right? That's just the right amount of time for keeping their attention and getting the facts out there. Okay. All right, so in the next few slides that I have left deal specifically with some more practical tips for you guys, right? So this idea of working smarter, not harder, right? The resources provided are tools to make teaching more practical, current, and relatable for your students, right? So this whole play it safe and use the course textbook in the master syllabus that's provided from Penn Highlands is probably going to be your best bet because it has the most updated resources for you and the material for you to use as instructors to supplement your course, right? So download your material early to review the content, insert those updated pictures and graphs with each new textbook version. The material, the concepts aren't going to change, but sometimes they, well, they will every time update, current events and data, which it's great because you don't have to go look for it yourself. It's right there for you, right? Provided for the resources. And of course, right, my little check with your liaison, right? Or you can check with the Office of School Partnerships for assessment information each year. It's most easiest, well, most easiest, some grammar, but it'd probably be the easiest to simply just check with your liaison. You can ask me, right? Ask me, send me an email. More than likely, I'll let you know. And a good liaison will just give you a heads up right away and say there is or there is not an assessment needed for this semester. And so you'll probably be able to be informed right away about that. Okay, so my final practical tip, and this is one of those that you would probably it would fare better for you to look at it in a PDF. So whenever it's uploaded when that PDF is uploaded and available for you, this will be easier to see that way. But this is one of those scanning documents from your cell phone and either an iPhone or an Android. There's different ways of looking at that. You can use your notes in an iPhone, tapping on the camera part of it. You can save it, right, as like a PDF even, like it saves as a document. It's great. And same thing over there. It's just, well, same end result using an Android, but lots of different steps in that way, right? Different steps, but it's very helpful. Say you needed to send student examples or samples, right, to your liaison. You can do that by just taking pictures and images like this using your phone and saving it as a document of some sort, right? And then emailing it that way. Very useful. Okay, so there would be, again, for any of you guys that have any tips or practices that you found to be useful in your classroom, if you want to send them my way through email or whenever I'm doing an observation with you, if you, come up with some brilliant thing that you're like, didn't get to show me in the classroom, but want to tell me, please do. Because these things are just, it's so great to pass on the information to everyone else and then to be able to see people using them and the students benefit from that, right? So again, thank you all. And thank you for watching, right? And I do hope to see everyone next year. Hopefully we see you in person for the ACE development session, right? I stopped sharing so you can see each other again here. But yes, so I hope to see everyone in person, like I said, for the next session. And if you need the resources or anything for the images that I've used in the slides, or if for some reason the PDF wasn't uploaded, if you want to send me an email, my information is provided there, and you can always contact me. I will do my very best to make sure I can get any resources and information out to you that whatever you're asking, right? So thank you again. and I will sign off for today.